Also, I would like to know a bit about your coding journey. Like, when did you start?
When I was in my college, the most used portal has to be GeeksforGeeks.
So, like, what was the difficulty level of the questions? And if you can share few of the questions, maybe not the exact question that were asked to you, but some similar kind of question that could be asked.
For the interview, like if somebody knows data structure well and they can manipulate data structure a bit, I guess they will be able to answer because the questions are asked were easy to medium level only.
Talking about the CS fundamentals, so what was the level of questions asked? Whatever is taught in college is enough, or did you do any preparation separately for them? So, like, was there any resume selection in the entire process? So, hello everyone, welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. My name is Muskan Agarwal, and today we have Sagun with us. So, as we do in all the interview experience webinars, she is going to share her interview experience so that all the students who are watching this, it might help them in their placement preparation and whatever interviews they are going to sit. So,
never mind. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Sagun, born and brought up in Chandanagar, a suburban town near Calcutta. I am currently pursuing BTech Academy of Technology. I'm in my 8th semester. I am working as a software engineer intern in Epam Systems since the last 3 months.
That is really great. Also, I would like to know a bit about your coding journey. Like, when did you start? Was like coding, did you start during your school days itself, or after coming to college, coding was something that interested you?
I did not know anything about coding when I was in school. I happened to join BTech and then I took the stream IT. Even in my first semester, I haven't done coding at all. I started in my second semester. I started off with C and then I went to Java, then JavaScript and all of that. I started from my second semester. I have practiced in quite a few languages, but my favorite one seems to be JavaScript so far. And I have also practiced in a lot of coding websites, but when I was in my college, the most used portal has to be GeeksforGeeks.
GeeksforGeeks, yes. Also, I would like to know that talking about the interview experience, can you share like how many rounds did you face till you got the final result and a brief about each and every round that you gave?
So currently I'm working at Epam Systems. There were 5 rounds there. So the first round, I'm from 2022 batch. This whole they hire in like 2 or 3 times a year. So I applied around September. So it was around like the first time they were hiring for 2022 batch. So then around September first week, I had my first round in my anatomy platform. There they asked questions of basic aptitude, and then there were a lot of technical MCQs like related to CS subjects, and then there were 2 coding questions there. That was the first round. And this round itself, a lot of people were rejected from the next step. The second round happened on 18th of September. There we had 3 coding questions. One was purely based on notes, and 2 were story-based questions. But yeah, one thing about the hiring process of Epam Systems is they allow you to code only in Java, like no other languages. So wherever they will ask you to code, the only language that you can select there is Java and no other language. So I cleared this round because I could code for all the 3 questions asked there. And yeah. And after that, we had a GD, group discussion. That was the third one. That was around October 1st week. Therein, we had like 10 members, around 10 members, and the group discussion went for around 30 minutes. It was easy in the sense like a common GD topic will be chosen, nothing that is too hard to speak about. And also, if somebody like opens the GD or happens to close the GD, they always have an advantage for that. So in GD round, usually people don't get rejected, but I have seen few examples that like communication skills has to be decent to pass that round. And after that, almost a month and a half later, I had my technical round. There, they usually ask about Java and its data structure and CS subjects like OS, DBMS, software. My round specifically was on Java, and there were a lot of cross questions regarding that. Like he asked me like to code. Like there were two questions, two story-based questions. One was related to array manipulation, and the other one was on stats. And after that, he gave me a lot of snippets, and he said me to identify like what's the error in the snippet, what will happen if he does this, or he tweaks the code here and there, and a lot of cross questions they kept following after that. That interview was pretty long, like for an hour, 10 minutes after that. And the last round, the fifth round, was the SR round. That was pretty chill. She was very, very like friendly, and it was almost like a discussion. And all the questions she asked was like generic SR questions. So that was how it went.
So it seems like a really elaborate process. Like as you mentioned, there were around 4 to 5 steps, and like every step was very extensive and required a lot of preparation. So again, congratulations for getting selected.
Yeah, it started. The first round was around first week of September, and I got confirmation on 10th of December. So around like 3 months for the file. Yeah, for the file.
So I would like to ask that you mentioned that there were DSA questions asked as well, right? In the technical interview as well as in the start. So like what was the difficulty level of the questions? And if you can share a few of the questions, maybe not the exact questions that were asked to you, but some similar kind of question that could be asked.
So for the first round, the difficulty level is easy. And also you can balance up with like the other MCQs. There are a lot of technical MCQs there. So the first round difficulty level is pretty easy, and both were story-based questions only. And the second coding round, there was one easy level question, one I would say easy to medium, and the other one was medium to hard level questions. All these three questions were like almost like a page long story based questions. So I don't remember them because the hiring happened around last year September. So that's how it went. And for the interview, like if somebody knows data structure well and they can manipulate data structure a bit, I guess they will be able to answer because the questions are asked were easy to medium level only. But for the technical interview, someone has to, like, if they want to prepare for it, then they should prepare more for the core Java because there are a lot of cross questions will be asked. For data structure, if somebody can solve like easy to medium questions, they will be able to prepare.
Right. I think that this is a very important point to know that only Java was allowed. So like if you are applying for this particular company, so make sure if you're coding in some other language, so Java should be, you should be aware with Java and everything because most of the companies allow other languages as well, right?
But I have applied for all, like the other companies, none of them had these conditions, but you will have to answer in Java.
Code in Java as well. Then talking about the CS fundamentals. So what was the level of questions asked? Whatever is taught in college is enough, or did you do any preparation separately for them?
No, whatever taught in college is enough. But one thing that I practiced more was DBMS because you can be asked to write queries every now and then, like in any interview actually. So DBMS is something which needs a bit of practice, except that uh, like OS and computer networks, all of them are theory based, and mostly the popular questions are asked. So.
Okay, so like the difficulty level overall would be easy to medium only,
Yeah.
like all the things. Yes, that is really great. So now the next thing comes to resume. So I think resume is something that reaches to the company before like we reach till the interviewer. So like was there any resume selection in the entire process?
Uh, the in Epam systems, like in the whole process, there was only one condition that you have to have like 50% throughout, then only you get to attempt. But
Right.
in the technical round, whatever you write in the resume becomes crucial. Because if you have mentioned something and you can't answer about that, then it creates an issue. Like in technical round, they will also ask about your project. And now you can only get through those cross questions if you have done the project on your own. Then you will know why you chose, what you chose, which feature brought a lot of difficulties, how you thought it, and all of that. So yeah, resume plays a role in the technical round.
Right. So then coming to the topic that how can we curate our resume such that it gets selected in most of the companies, because an HR gets thousands of resumes and a company gets so many resumes. So what did you do such that your resume stands out from the rest of the students that are there?
My resume, I make sure it's of one page only, and it has to be brief, not very descriptive, and also relevant to the profile you are applying for. Like in
Right.
Epam systems, they were very clear that all the CS related branches will be offered a post of software engineer, and for the non-CS students, they will go for test automation. Okay, so as I'm from IT, so my designation that I applied for was software engineer. So whatever related to that, I could put only that, not about my like school achievements and all of that. Yeah, and also I described my projects, and I made sure I write, like I link everything like my profile or my GitHub link of the project and all of that. That really helps. What we can do is we can use as many keywords as possible, but not overuse it, because whatever you should write about that.
Yeah, I think this is a very valid point as you mentioned. Like I see some of the students will write everything, like even if they do not know it well, they'll just write it, and when the questions are asked in the interview, they're not able to answer it, right? So I think that is not the right thing to do. Yes. So next thing, coming to the projects. So as you mentioned that projects played a very important role in the technical interviews that were there. So can you give a brief about what all projects did you work on, and which project did you think was like the most helpful during your selection?
I made three noteworthy projects. Two of them were a fair project, and one was the college group project. So we started working on that when we were in like our fourth semester then only. The project I was asked most questions about was about that group project, because the idea of the project is uh, it, it's kind of a web app for the university students, wherein we created four modules. The first module has a canteen section where students can order food from the canteen, and they get the estimated delivery time from that. The second is the lost and found section, where any one of the like college, like the staff or the student, can post about lost or found items. And the third one tracks attendance actually. Like it's very helpful for the teacher to keep a track of the attendance of a particular student, and also for students like for which subject what attendance to have. And the last section is about the events of the university. So that was pretty descriptive project, because in one web app we tried to implement four sub-modules of that. So most of the questions come that one.
Right. And it seems like a really unique and helpful project. Like we can help people in person. So yes, I think, and also as you mentioned that we should provide the links. So some of the
Yeah.
students provide the projects, like they worked on this, but do not provide the link. So I think yes, providing a link is very important in the resume as
Yeah,
well.
the reason for that is like nobody has the time to download the whole thing
Right.
and get. So if it's somewhere deployed, so people can click on that link and they will go there. So it becomes very, very easy for the interviewer as well because he has to take several interviews on a particular
Right.
day.
Yeah. So, Shagun, I wanted to ask that as you mentioned that your project was really elaborate, but some of the students like prefer working on small projects, like maybe a simple web app or a simple application, basically. So, do you think that is fine, or we should work on a really complex and elaborate project?
Not really. It's just that I always wanted to do development, and I did it because I enjoyed it. It's not because of I wanted to prepare for an interview. Yeah, small projects definitely work. One thing we should note that we should not copy paste the whole thing. We should come up with some idea or the other and do everything, like understand at least everything. Why is it happening? And why only that technology is used and why not something else? Instead of mugging up, if we can like just understand why and when things happen in the project, I guess that would do. Like someone should be able to handle the cross questions that come. That should do. The project does not need to be complex.
Right. And I think if you've done the project from scratch on your own, like the answers will come naturally. You do not have to, mug up anything or study anything from before because you've already, used it while you were implementing the project. Yes, definitely. So the next thing I would like to ask is that is there any other tip that you would like to give to the students who are planning to give interviews in future? Maybe not for your company, maybe for other companies as well. What will be your suggestion to them?
Um, First thing first, that we should have a habit of problem solving. Like even one question a day. Sometimes it's not possible, I get it, but we should at least have the willingness to solve questions, not just because we want to prepare for interviews, but on day-to-day basis as well. I actually have practiced more than 400 questions on GFG only, like practice.gfg.org. There because as a beginner it becomes very easy because in the other coding websites they start only with a level of difficulty, but in GeeksforGeeks they have difficulty level like school, basic, easy, medium, hard, that way. So the basic and the school level are very, very easy. So if somebody is like nice in coding, then they can really start from that so that they can build up the habit of coding and then they can move to easy and medium level questions. So that is one tip. Second tip is the data structure knowledge has to be strong because a lot of times you might be asked like cross questions in that, in-depth questions in that, implementing different data structures. Also, practicing popular questions really, really helps. Then, yeah, being a CSIT student, knowing the core subjects becomes a necessity, like databases, networking, OS, a bit of software engineering, and yeah, OOP has to be really, really strong. And learning one object-oriented programming language is a must. Knowing that language pretty well really helps.
Yeah, I think like a lot of students waste their time in just knowing what language should be used. I've seen students waste 1 or 2 months just deciding the language that C++ should I do or Java I should do. I think you should start with any language, like whatever is suitable, because I think language we can shift in 1 week as well. Logic is something that requires time to develop. So yes.
Also, the more you learn, the more easier it becomes, like shifting to languages becomes very, very easy. if somebody understands one object-oriented programming language really well, they will be able to shift really big. Like I only started off with C++, then I went to Java. So it took me hardly like a week or two to start with Java. It was pretty easy.
Okay. So these were all the questions from my side, Shagun. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and coming to Geeks for Geeks. I hope it helps a lot of students who are watching this or who are planning to appear for interviews in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, and for any further questions, I'll make sure I attach my link to my LinkedIn profile so that people can reach me there. I'll be ready to help. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
definitely. We will put your LinkedIn in the description box below. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.